And then let's go into, I'll note that nobody has added any agenda items other than the working group reports. I kind of feel like Catherine's proposal should actually be a separate agenda item and not a working group report, because it's kind of major. But Catherine also couldn't join us, and so we can't really discuss it effectively. Oh, can someone help me take notes? Because it's hard to take notes and guide the agenda at the same time. So we will punt on discussion of Abide, and hopefully we'll be able to do it at some future meeting. So for those of you, and skip ahead, the Abide initiative is Catherine's initiative to expand accessibility. Having had a lot of success with the deaf and hard of hearing group, to expand accessibility programs in the CNCF. She's been starting with another group that's focusing on people with sight disabilities. But a lot of this will, basically expand to different audiences depending on where we have community members and volunteers. And I don't know what this is going to be. I mean, it feels like this should be an initiative that then becomes its own thing, as we've discussed before, because I think accessibility is bigger than is reasonable through a working group, but I don't know.
So is this going to be like a general accessibility, or is this going to target
accessibility in the sense of the community being accessible to people, to populations to whom it might not be accessible for various reasons?
I see.
Not accessibility in terms of documentation or UX.
Right, because that's sort of exactly where my
except as a tie-in issue, right? Because obviously, like if we're having a sight disabled group, right, you can't have that discussion without also discussing UX and documentation, because if they can't access any of those things, they're not using the software. Rian?
Yes, what I noticed is it's called Aleph Abide, so I suspect it's actually going to leave our group and move up in the stack towards Aleph. That's what I suspect. So it's not going to be an initiative for a working group or anything. Any of those things. It's going to be a thing on its own.
Okay. Yep. So it will be briefly ours in incubation, and then it will fly out of the nest relatively rapidly.
Do you know where in the LF that would live? Just not to talk too inside baseball, Rian, but I'm just curious where that might.
I'm not sure, but I'm sure wherever it lives, it will abide. Sorry, couldn't resist.
You're not sorry.
You know me too well, Nate. You know me too well.
I do like the idea of incubating it here and then spinning it out just to give it a place to get it off to a good start.
No, I think it's a good initiative. I like it. And again, my brain immediately went to, okay, how can I integrate some of this with the tech docs work I do on websites to make spinning up websites accessible by default, and getting and this may be a discussion with the Doxy crew or whomever, or just leveraging more Hugo functionality to make sure that sites are accessible with things like screen readers and such.
It'll be nice to have a group where we can get feedback on our processes and how we're doing things, and whether those things are working for people who actually use them that way. So I think that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, something that so I think Josh was in the meeting.
Mhm.
So Catherine visited me. So we attended the what was it, the governance meeting together last week on
Mhm.
site. So that was cool. So she's in Cape Town at the moment. So something that we did discuss, which I proposed, is Nate, for you to maybe reach out to somebody like Rob or what's the other person? I can't get to the name now. She did a talk at KubeCon, but I think she's still a little junior. Rob is more senior, to actually get them into a mentorship, being the mentor for somebody else, so that actually the working group becomes more active in mentoring rather than just maybe being mentees.
Right. Sorry, just I know a lot of Robs. Which Rob?
He's the co-lead with Destiny. And then also, if you want to do the document thing, Destiny is quite what. So what you could also do is with Destiny, if she's interested, is she's really into figuring out how to do docs into GitHub. And I think a lot of blockers is I can't do GitHub, so I can't do docs. So she might even be a docs mentee.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, let's chat about that. Maybe we take that offline. We talk in Slack and figure something out. I'd be happy to help out there.
Okay. Well, with that, let's go to working group reports. And
Our randomizer isn't working all that well.
yep, and we'll
I
start
only
with mentoring.
randomize it every other time.
Oh, is that what it is?
Aha,
Yeah.
this is
So-
the secret. Just so you don't always
Yep.
have to go first. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that's just mean
Yeah.
to make the same people go first every time.
I'll be quick. LFX mentorship term 2 is humming along, doing well. Term 3 is accepting applications, and I have some shareables. So if we are accepting applications until next Tuesday. If you know somebody who wants to be a mentee, let them know. Google Summer of Code is again humming along. Not really any updates there. We do have a reminder that we have a new time for our mentoring working group. And that's going to be the third Thursday of every month at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And that's coming up next week, this time slot next week. So the next one up is August 15th. Am I missing anything, Ollie? I think that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
I have a related question. So you, kind of related. You had some shareables here. Are we still using our Fosstodon contributor strategy account?
I was wondering about that myself. The last time I did a Mastodon post was on my own account. I probably should have used the Fosstodon one. And in this case, I have not yet. I just got these links like 10 minutes before this meeting, so I haven't done the Mastodon. But I would suggest that we should continue using it. I don't know what the traction is on that though.
Well, I think
Well,
we can't tell because there was a post in November and then one in February and then one in May. So
Yeah.
that looks
Right.
like our usage, but I didn't want to talk about like reviving it if that wasn't actually the one we were using anymore. If I had missed something and we had changed to something else.
No,
It wasn't since March.
we just keep forgetting to use the account.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Okay, so I just wanted to bring that up to remind everyone that we have that and we should
Yeah.
try to use it for some stuff and maybe
Yeah.
maybe we can start to get some traction on it. We'll see.
Yeah, I wish whatchamacallit, I wish Boost hadn't unleashed new prices, because it would make our lives easier if we could use that and then have it post to Fosstodon and LinkedIn and maybe Blue Sky for us.
Mhm.
But their new pricing is $120 a year per channel. So
For which, sorry?
I think it's called Boost, the thing that we're using for Kubernetes to manage our social media accounts.
Like, is it like a Hootsuite?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the pricing is much better than Hootsuite.
Yeah.
Which is like in the thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But even so, I guarantee you the CNCF is not going to be willing to pay for accounts for each tag.
Yeah, I think they would push back and say, well,
Right.
we have cloud native FDN on Twitter and such. So
Yeah. I mean, one of my problems with using the CNCF's official social media channels is they seem to use Twitter and pretty much nothing else.
well, and LinkedIn.
Okay.
I think they're LinkedIn. I think almost everything that hits Twitter hits LinkedIn. At least maybe not everything, but everything that I've seen, sort of. Not that I'm paying that close attention, but I think, and to be honest, the last time I looked, the better traffic driver for the mentoring GitHub was LinkedIn. We're getting more traffic.
I'd expect that.
Yeah.
I would expect that. Yeah, I know. And that's the thing, is that if we're manually posting to each of these things, it becomes time consuming to post to all of them. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that Mastodon, if we were using our channel enough for it to actually get some followers, it's potentially a better way to reach maintainers than, say, LinkedIn is. I mean, there isn't really any good way to reach maintainers. But we're more likely to get a maintainer somewhere in Mastodon than we are to get them in LinkedIn. Yeah, and just the problem is remembering to actually post to all these different places. This is why in Kubernetes we actually have a separate comms group, because that means that I just need to remember to send my message to the comms group and they handle actually getting it out.
So I was adding something to the agenda. I mean, after this discussion, of course. So should we have a LinkedIn account? I was just thinking about that, and LinkedIn, in my opinion, in my experience, at least at Knative, has more reach than people don't really react to Twitter. It's mostly okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna speculate. But on LinkedIn, for example, in Knative, we are getting good reactions. But I just wrote it, but then I realized, let's say, hey, Google Summer of Code new term is opening, propose your idea. So this kind of announcement, it should come from CNCF anyway.
Yeah.
I think if we have our tag contributor strategy LinkedIn page, which will, I don't know, have like 100 followers or something. Maybe it doesn't make sense. In Knative, it kind of works because we are posting stuff, technical stuff, etc. Here, maybe not so much. So I was just adding that agenda item a bit too fast.
I do think we need to get better about asking the CNCF to share some of our stuff, because I think we've sort of fallen off of that train. I think we were pretty good at it for a while.
I think I agree with that. I think that they've got I won't say huge following, but they've got a very large following and are happy to when asked, just post stuff for us. In my experience, they'll even write up the tweet and whatnot. So it's like, hey, here's a link to the thing that we need to boost. Could you write something up and schedule it for and they're more than happy to do that. So I think rather than
Yep.
creating our own LinkedIn page. I think I would rather leverage some of the CNCF stuff better.
And also what I saw from the which roughly the same people doing it is for the LF social media. They have ways to tag and connect and link and repost, and that is beyond my ability to understand on social media. So yeah, they've got all sorts of ways to increase the reach. We don't have the bandwidth for.
Yeah, and just a reminder, there's a social media channel on Slack, and all you have to do is post the link of the thing that you want boosted, reposted, whatever it is on that social site. And so they do actually make it quite easy to do this.
Yeah, well, that was part of our Thursday meeting every Thursday for a while, and I think we just need to get back in the habit, which is every Thursday pick a message that we'll post to our own accounts, which I guess actually the reason to use our own Mastodon account is that the CNCF is not on Mastodon at all, and that might be true of Blue Sky as well if we decide to do something in Blue Sky, and
Yeah.
then you know, and then give them the message for LinkedIn and Twitter.
Yeah. That was I tried. I was told no. I'd love for the CNCF to have a Mastodon account, but that's not in the cards right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. So given that, that's a note to. So given that, the message this week would be term 3 accepting applications. Yeah. Okay. Can you dump that actual text?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
In the notes as well.
Yep,
Just
yep.
remembering that.
And it's down,
Share-
there's a whole section for it, weekly tweet/social at the very bottom of the agenda.
Yeah.
Or getting the word out campaign. I'm not sure, are those the same, because the getting the
the
word
same
out
thing.
campaign was something kind of specific that we were doing. That
Yeah.
maybe we remove that from the template and just focus
Okay.
on the weekly.
Okay.
And
So
free to make changes to hashtags and all that sort of stuff. This is what they wrote.
Yep.
I think hashtags are a little bit more important on Mastodon than Twitter.
Yeah. Okay. So contributor growth. I guess I'll talk about this. Again, this working group is not very active right now due to leadership, but that might change given the one thing is that our maintainer session was submitted, which is a how should I get started contributing in the CNCF type session, which is going to be delivered by Destiny and Rian. I'm helping coach in terms of putting together the actual talk, but I'm not going to be speaking. And then governance. Ali, you want to start with this?
Sure. KubeFS governance review, I started working on that one. There's the document, so I'm writing that in a Google Doc. I did like half of it, I guess. So a colleague from the local KCD group is interested in helping out. I really hope he actually does it. Yeah. I also acknowledge that CubeFS to the CubeFS people that I'm working on this. I think this is kind of important. I realized later on because people are getting frustrated because of the long wait times.
Yeah. The yeah, the other thing that we're putting off, and then of course having put it off is going to make things worse, which is is reconciling the checklist, the new graduation checklist with the governance review, so that we can actually finish and release the self-assessment guide. Because the self-assessment guide now needs to say, okay, here's the things on the governance checklist, and here's how to fill those out, and then here's the other things that you need to look at, and what you need to look at specifically, which would reduce the amount of time that we spend actually doing the review ourselves, since we'd be searching for fewer things. And hopefully, and importantly, hopefully, the project would be fixing a lot of issues in their own governance before it even gets to us, which would be nice.
So do you have the checklist? I am a bit confused with all these checklist changes in the
yeah,
product and stuff. So if you can send me that to really make sure, and then can actually start maybe updating the self-assessment guide.
So yeah, and I'm trying to find where the actual template for the graduation checklist is.
Well, maybe just take that as an action item and
yeah,
you can find it later.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because actually CubeFS is the first one that we're getting that has actually filled that out. So, and you'll see a bunch of the things in there are duplicative of what we have in our governance review, because that's where they came from. But it doesn't cover everything our governance review covers. So, and importantly, you know, one of the things we need to do as part of our governance review is to actually just sort of double check that they're doing what they say they're doing, to the extent that we can determine that with a quick check.
Side note,
Yeah.
I found that part, I think, a bit easier to give it to someone else. So this new person that I'm trying to recruit, I asked him to check the maintainer list and compare it with dev stats, something like that. So those kind of stuff, you can maybe also do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, hopefully that should go away, because things like at least listing where all of their governance paperwork is should be something that the project actually fills out. Anyway, that is a major to do, and I haven't started on it because I know it means, you know, having stuff up on all three screens and spending an entire afternoon moving things around. Okay. But that's where we are. And one of the positive things is I mentored Ed in doing a review of Pixie, which did a great job of filling out the initial information. I'm doing and edit on it now just because, you know, as a first time, he put some things in the wrong parts of the governance review, which is not at all surprising since a lot of our headings are very similar sounding. You know, and I need to actually just sort of double check on things. And I've started Cert Manager personally because according to the TOC, the governance review is likely to hold up their graduation until it's done. Not seeing any major problems there, but it does need to get written up. Anything else in governance? Okay. Maintainer circle. One of the questions was, is George Castro helping with us now? Not yet. He's not been available yet. And so that also answers the question of when's the next scheduled maintainer circle. It's not.
Okay, so have you reached out to George yet?
There was a ping. I could actually remind him that that's what we're waiting on.
Yeah, because I've talked to him in passing. He seems interested in helping out, and we seem interested in having him help out. So I think it's just a connection issue.
Okay.
Reach out, and I'm sure we can get that sorted.
Are you going to reach out to him, Nate, or should one of us?
Well, I would recommend it be one of you, because I don't have any of the details on the maintainer circle.
Okay.
I've been pushing like side channeling, but I would do an official invite and say, hey, this is we heard you're interested. Here's what we've got planned and how we could actually do that.
Okay. Yeah, so follow up. I'm actually just going to go ahead and follow up in channel because there's nothing private about this.
Yeah.
And for this to go forward, it needs to happen in the public channel. So one of the things that I will note is the new program staff are actually actively using the Maintainer Circle Slack channel, which has kind of boosted the projects themselves using the Maintainer Circle Slack channel. So it has a much higher level of activity now than it did last year. And I think that's good, right? Because the Slack channel is supposed to be part of it. It's not just the sessions, it's also this Slack channel and other communications channels. So, okay. So we will work on that. Okay. Website infra. No, I think this should remain in the template because sometimes we have things to discuss there.
Okay. I was thinking about removing it, and then if we had something to discuss, we could just add it to the agenda.
Okay.
Because I don't think we've had an update on that for months.
Okay. You know, actually what might make more sense is to change the title of this to Tech Lead. Because that might go beyond website infra.
Okay, done.
And speaking of which, Tech Leads, do we have anything this month?
I don't. Regarding the
website.
Yeah. And there's a backlog in the website. There's some work to do. But they're low priority, in my opinion, compared to governance reviews. So
yeah,
I would rather spend my time there.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay. Okay. And we have our weekly social post. So, any other matters that we haven't discussed during the meeting?
So sorry, one more thing, that weekly social post, there's more than just what we promote for the social. Who's going to post that? Was that Nate? You were going to post that in the social media channel for them, or?
Oh, well, this is the two links I've already linked have been posted. They got posted about 9 a.m. this morning. So if we
Okay.
could share those, that would be lovely. And Josh, if you could Mastodon that, that would be that would be great. But otherwise, it's just a matter of boosting and sharing what it's there.
Yeah, okay, so Josh is gonna post it to Mastodon, and CNCF has already boosted, posted all of those things, the CNCF accounts?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
And then the other thing in that section is articles for the monthly maintainer newsletter. When does the maintainer newsletter go out?
Let me check. I think it is usually late in the month, usually in the 20s. Let me check though.
I think the only thing we have that really needs to go in that newsletter is probably the mentorship stuff.
Send date is August 21st. So that'll be late for the mentorship stuff.
Okay.
Which is kind of often the case. I haven't been able to get those. I haven't been able to get the mentorship stuff and the newsletter synced yet. And part of it is just because we schedule things so far out in advance that and we have constraints around the schedule. That is actually an update I should make. By this time next month, we should have term 1 for 2025 scheduled. It's on my to-do list here to make sure that we get ahead of that.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I think that's all that's in that social section.
One thing I actually will say, and this is for sharing with CNCF because one of their channels is Twitter, etc. Don't forget hashtags.
Hashtags are important. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I was actually planning on gently passing that along, saying, hey, next time, hashtag it up.
Well, I mean, the thing is that we should just add them. We should just come up with relevant hashtags and
that works too.
So I just pasted them into the notes for that particular announcement. Yep. So because particularly on Mastodon, you live or die by hashtags. People don't find stuff otherwise.
Yeah, I like one of the things, non sequitur maybe, but one of the things I really like about Mastodon is that you can subscribe to hashtags as if they were individuals. So
people,
it's kind of cool.
So, okay.
I added another topic, which we might have on our radar. So I don't know if any one of you been to the peer group mentoring sessions at KubeCon before. I accidentally ended up there the last two KubeCon, the first one. So Jay Tehima actually invited me, and then he stood me up on the date and didn't arrive, so I did it all by myself. But I found it very engaging. So what it is, for those that don't know, I think it can be so much more. So they have, they say like little pods. So they have groups of tables together, and then people just go sit there and they talk about stuff. And the idea is, and it doesn't seem from what I saw, so I would actually like to find out, they don't have specific mentors identified that should be there that know stuff. But I saw Dims there. I think I saw Tim Pepper there. There's a couple of people that's really been in the community a long time that actually did go to the meeting. And then people, and just about everybody else in the meeting was people that's never been to KubeCon, and they ask questions that is just astonishing. They have been to KubeCon for 5 days and they still don't know where to find anything. It's just, they're lost in the complexity of the cloud native ecosystem. So it was really great. So most of what I shared was go to this post and this is how you get started. And a lot of people went away with that and jumped into. So we can think about if we want to have maybe some printed collateral that we can hand out, or a list of these things you want to have a look at. If you're interested in, you can get active in communities here. This is how you can join meetings. I actually was in a meeting this morning where people said, I never knew you could actually attend these meetings. So that's, and I think a lot of people, even at KubeCon, that attended KubeCon, don't realize that community meetings is open and free and everybody can attend. And I had another one earlier in the month, and somebody said, I haven't paid yet, but is it okay if I attend? I said, no, you don't pay. There's no paying here. It's just public. So yeah, so if we want to, we can actually, I think as a group, if we go to that session, if we will have bandwidth, I'll definitely make time to be there and speak to people about that, because it's an easy route in.
Yeah, I mean, the challenge for me personally has always been that it usually ends up in the calendar conflicting with the Kubernetes meet and greet, or if not conflicting immediately before it, and it so conflicting with setup for Kubernetes meet and greet. Which is why I haven't been the last couple of rounds. I mean, honestly, I think the peer group mentoring would be better if they actually had it on an earlier day of KubeCon.
My thought is that need to be on the first day of KubeCon.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you can tell them a lot of, I don't know if they can still move it around, but I was actually, last time I thought about it, I thought we're at the end of day 5, and it's actually late in the day, I think. Let me see if I can see the time.
Is it, who runs that? Is that Katie or?
I will, at the next staff call later, maybe we should bring this up, because I think it was last time something like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like everybody's about to go home, and now you tell them, oh, you missed out on all this things this week. Maybe have it in the beginning of the week and explain to them this is because floating around KubeCon and you've never been there, the project pavilion even doesn't make sense. You don't realize, okay, these are sponsored booths. Okay, these are actual projects. It's not obvious to people that's never been there before. And maybe just an information session of this is how the layout works. This is how you engage. This is where you find projects. This is.
Is it Tag Intuitor? I could speak. Is it Tag Intuitor Strategy that runs this, or is it like Katie?
No, it's
George.
I'm not sure. There was an Aleph, I can't remember her name. There was an Aleph person in the room that just kind of oversaw the thing. There's nobody running it. So it could easily be very awkward because people stroll in and nobody's sure what's going on. And so I found myself at the table and I just started talking about open source things. And after 15 minutes, he says, okay, time to change. And then everybody jumps up and move around. And so I just stay where I am and I get new people to listen to the same story. And so I think it can be so much more. It's on the agenda. And maybe if we as a tag take it over, it's not a heavy lift. I wouldn't mind being involved there.
Yeah,
I just need people that's willing to talk.
Let's take this offline. Rian, you and I can do a little bit of research, figure out what's going on and where. Because I agree. I think we can do better, and I think I'd be happy to adopt that into regular mentoring, because it's a thing that happens sort of 3 times a year, maybe 4. So it's yeah, let's
Yeah, don't yeah, just remind me, actually, so the one was how to get started. The other big thing I was showing people, mentoring. Did you realize there's mentoring? No, we didn't. This is where you go. This is how you do it. This is how you apply. So I took people through all sorts of things, and yeah, we can be great. Let's work on it together. And maybe if you have, even if it's just things you print at home, a page full of notes, and say, go here, go. Mentoring is there. It doesn't have to be a glossy brochure. Just information people can take home. And scan the QR code here and you know everything. So yeah, that's my excitement about that. I like it.
Mhm. Okay. So the proposals are both that as a tag, we should be officially involved with the peer group mentoring event. And the other thing is that it would be better if it was earlier in the conference. Rian, are you going to take that to the event staff?
Yes, I think Nate is a little more involved in the innards of CNCF, so the two of us together will spearhead this.
Yeah.
Don't know if moving it's still possible, but we can try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem that they have obviously is finding time slots for these extra events that aren't sessions. Because for that matter, we've wanted the meet and greet to be earlier. Wait, somebody just deleted a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, no. I moved it because we had 2 competing things. It was up in the other agenda items, and you had added it at the bottom, so I just combined the 2.
Okay. Yeah, because we've wanted the meet and greet to be earlier in the conference for ages, and just said, too many overlapping things, because even though, for example, there isn't a lot of overlap with, say, the governing board meeting, there is for the staff. But we can talk to them
I hope
about
it
that.
doesn't overlap with GB governing board meeting, because I have to be there, and the TOC meeting.
Yeah. See, and that's the exact problem, and why these things end up on Friday. But it's worth talking about, right? Because I don't think they've considered that the mentoring is less valuable the later it happens in the conference.
It might even, I don't know if they're going to have a space for it, because what was the thing that they had last year? The day before, they had like a speed dating talking thing. You got 7 minutes, tell us about your stuff, that George ran, which was highly successful. If you have an adjacent room that is peer mentoring and people can stroll in and out, and it's just a discussion room, and we market that might even be, and we staff it.
My experience
for a few hours.
Yeah, I don't want. If they are currently getting folks in the format that they've got, I wouldn't tinker with that format too much. Because I've tried the in-room work session thing. It has not historically been well attended. So if they've got a formula where people are actually attending and participating, that's not something we want to change potentially.
Good. I follow your lead.
It's like magic. If somebody's figured out a way of having people actually show up, it's like, yes, that's the win.
So going back up to the top in the add your agenda items here, Ollie's added about the shared drive not working. It works for me and it seems to work for Josh. So I think maybe.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe it's your access that's not working.
Rian, you said you gave access to people, right?
Yes, I did. So let me quickly have a look at it.
Okay, so
Um,
I will reach out to you later on.
no,
In
reach out and I'll
Yeah.
make sure. Maybe I've got the wrong email on for you. So just reach
There's a
out and I'll-
typo in Ollie's email address. It says Reed
Oh,
Hat
wow.
instead of Red Hat.
Reed Hat. That's the problem. Okay. Here we are. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. There we go.
You don't work at Redat?
Yeah.
What's a Redat? It's like a sombrero, something that was woven out of reeds.
No. This is READ hat. It's the hat you wear while reading. Have you ever watched
Oh,
Reading
a
Rainbow?
Reed
I'm
hat.
putting on my
Oh.
reading hat. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I know
Yeah.
that.
So,
All right, problem solved.
yeah. The okay. Um so okay. Okay. Do we have anything else?
I'm good.
Okay. If so, that's all for this week's meeting. See you on Slack. Oh, I shared the Mastodon post. So any of you who have Mastodon accounts,
Oh, thank you.
please reshare that.
Awesome, thank you.
The
See you later. Cheers.
okay.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.